it looks like this accidentally was late. I promise I haven't seen this. Obviously, I seen the front, yeah, police moving in. I woke up, this is the first thing I seen, this is my first tab I opened. The police are moving in. Apparently in DC, there was a whole bunch of liberals protesting. Liberals, if that's still what you want to call them. I'm not sure what in the political space, like how much resentment there is towards the Liberal Party still. But let's watch this video. I want to know what the hell the Liberals did to cause the fucking police to actually do something. Sitting there watching them is one thing, but doing something is another. Let's read some of these signs real quick. Jews worldwide condemn Israeli bloody brutality. Netanyahu is a war criminal. The occupation of Judaism condemns the state of Israel and its atrocities. Stand with Palestinian people's resistance. Stop U.S. funding of Israeli apartheid. No denormalization, struggle until liberation. I actually kind of agree with, that the first part of that sign. I hate normalization. I stand on the firm belief of if it ain't normal to begin with, it ain't ever going to be normal. And anything you try to normalize ain't ever going to be normal. It's just going to be artificial. It's just going to be man-made. So I do agree with that, but I don't know what the point of this is. And it looks like he's got some some sort of web image off the internet. Is that a Jew? Listen, man, if you love Palestine so much and you actually don't think they're horrible people, then how about you just move there? We are deporting millions of people. Who knows? Maybe we can get you a free ticket. We have been saving millions of dollars with Doge. I personally, as an American taxpayer, would be fine with paying your $5,000 transfer fee back there. I'm personally fine with that. I don't know about other American taxpayers. How about you? Are you fine with that? We've been saving billions and billions and millions of dollars because of Doge, shutting down all these slush funds. What the hell is a couple $1 million to get rid of these people, yeah? Am I crazy for thinking that, or is that financially viable? Up is liberation! Down, down! Why are they moving in? Are they just pushing them back? Is that what it is? So that way he can walk through there? Yeah, okay. No, I don't see anything illegal going on. Still just looks like a protest. While I don't agree with these guys whatsoever, I don't like them. As you can tell, everything I've just said, they do have a freedom of speech. They're not taking anybody's rights away right now. Yeah, you could say calling for violence, inciting violence. As you saw me, I deliberately read their signs. I didn't see a single one say anything about killing or blood. They were saying shut it down, but a lot of people have said shut it down. There was some January 6 people who also said shut it down. But shut it down, I think it's just an overplayed combination of words. I don't see anything violent. They're fully within their right. As much as I hate to admit it, let's just continue and see what goes on. No, disobey him. Free Palestine! Free Palestine! They have the right to say that. I ain't gonna lie, the person on the drums is this not do anything? Was I just misled? Alright, let's read some more signs. Fight racism, not Iran. I mean, I think both. However, fight racism, what racism? Seriously, like, I think that is a very great and valid question. What racism? You're the only person thinking. I haven't even thought about racism in the last 5 months because, like I said, I've been just trying out the thing. I mean, the only time I think about racism as a paleo-conservative is when I watch a video of you guys. How's that? No more! I don't know what that means, and I'm really hoping it's not like a death chant or something, but this guy looks unemployed. Judaism rejects Zionism in the state of Israel. Blah, 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 blah. So yeah, it looks like no, the police didn't do anything. I just got misled. It looked like they were gonna do something. You know, from here you see the police, you know, it looks like they're taking something away, but I guess not. I know nothing else about what the hell happened in DC last night, so I kind of just want to go through this timeline just a little bit more and continue to see. I did see this. I haven't reacted to it though. How the hell does that work? Am I supposed to like pretend to react to it?
We have an executive order prepared for your attention that would withdraw the United States from the UN Human Rights Council, would withdraw the United States from the UNRWA, which is a refugee organization, and would also review American involvement in UNESCO, which is also exhibiting anti-American.
I do like seeing Trump getting us out of, or having us have less involvement in not just foreign policies in other countries, but in the aid and the finances we send them as well. Because anybody can just say, oh yeah, I got you, I'm not going to end a war, or sorry, I am going to end a war and I won't start a war, right? But then they sit there and they still, you know, fund, right? I mean, that's how a lot of wars have started. That's how Ukraine, well, I mean, that's not how Ukraine started, but I mean, how much money have we sent them? We've been funding it, and that's why it's been dragging on so long. Because we all know without our funding, Ukraine wouldn't stand a chance. So you could argue, because of our funding, we've caused millions more to death. I don't know, man. I really do like seeing it. I really hope we have less government programs, less three-letter agencies, less things our kids have to learn in school about the government. The lesser the better, especially with our kids' attention spans right now. They are going drastically downhill. And the last thing we need is bigger government, more complicated laws, like complicated ass taxes, right? I mean, why do we have to file taxes if they already have our pay stubs and everything? I mean, they're the ones that send it to us, so why are we the ones doing it and then sending it back? And then getting in trouble if we do it wrong? Shouldn't they just do it, right? I don't know. I'm not an economics professor, so maybe I don't know what I'm talking about, but I also don't need to be a firefighter to know when there's a fire, right?
More generally, the executive order calls for a review of American involvement and funding in the UN in light of the...
Wait, what was that about the UN? Hold on, let me turn this up.
Involvement and funding in the UN in light of the wild disparities in levels of funding among different countries that, as you expressed previously, is deeply unfair to the United States.
Yeah, that's great. So essentially what they're saying right there is what conservatives have wanted since Trump's first term. And Trump wouldn't do it in his first term, but now, I mean, with everything at the edge of a precipice, right? With everything at such high stakes. I mean, they tried to kill the dude twice, right? And he, from what I understand, he thought it was worth threatening blowing up Iran with. He didn't say specifically what kind of missiles or if it would be nukes, but he just said there would be nothing left, right? So we can only assume it would be a nuke. An ICBM would be larger than a nuke, and it would affect other countries. So I don't know. Let's see what else Trump has to say.
So I've always felt that the UN has tremendous potential. It's not living up to that potential right now. It really is.
Yeah.
It hasn't for a long time. It has. There are great hopes for it, but.
I think we do pay more than any other country funding-wise for the UN. But then again, you could argue it's because of that we have the primary seat at the table. But then, with my argument, I would argue, why do we need the primary seat at the table? If we don't want to be the world police, if we don't want to get involved in everybody's bullshit, right, and we don't want everybody else getting involved in our bullshit, then why do we need to have the biggest seat, the most shiniest seat? Why does anybody need to have the biggest seat in the room, right? Shouldn't we all be equals as countries? I don't know.
It's not being well run, to be honest, and they're not doing.
Yeah.
A lot of these conflicts that we're working on should be settled, or at least we should.
I can't even tell you the last great thing the fucking UN did.
That should be the primary purpose.
Actually, no, I can. The last thing I can remember the UN doing that was good was, I think it was the Ugandan massacre, I think, back in the 80s, late 70s, something like that. I watched a movie about it when I was a kid, and that's the only reason I remember this right now, is the UN played a huge role in that movie in keeping, or maybe it was Rwandan. I don't know, it was some sort of African country. There was some sort of like civil war, a massacre. It was like the Houthis and somebody else. I can't really remember right now. That's the last greatest thing I personally can remember the UN doing. I can't remember anything else the UN has done ever since except talk, and let us solve all their issues, right? They're the UN. Shouldn't they be solving everybody's issues? Not like their own country's issues, but like if there's banter and a disagreement between one another, instead of them sitting here escalating, a war happens and then the UN has to come out with a statement. Why doesn't the UN just get involved and get in between these two countries? Like I was just saying, why does it always have to be the United States at the big seat, right? Why do we have to have the biggest table? It should be the UN that has the biggest seat in the table, because they should be the one fixing and calming down the countries. That's what they're supposed to be. The United Nations. We're supposed to be a peaceful, united front, right?
And nations, and again, it's got great potential, and based on the potential, we'll continue to go along with it, but we gotta get their act together.
Yeah. That's great. He said that because now the UN is going to have to step up, and if they actually step up and do what they're supposed to do without the funding, right, then maybe they will get future funding. I like the way he said that. They're not getting it right now, but hopefully, maybe. Oh God, this girl looks crazy. Let's see what she has to say. More liberal lunacy.
Oh no! Who is here? Do y'all know who is here? So say it loud and say it clear. BB is not welcome here. 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 BB, you can't.
Border Patrol? Is that what they're saying? BP? Border Patrol?
At this moment,
A war criminal is being welcomed into the building behind us. But this is not a surprise.
If he's such a war criminal, what wars has he gotten us started in since he's taken office? Oh, right. None. How many wars did Biden get us put into? 2 that he never ended, right? And let's go back to Trump's first term. There was a war going on. I can't remember specifically what country. I want to say it's Iran. But, you know, the whole ISIS thing. Yeah, he came in, bombed them all, 99.9% of them. They are all gone. And then the last 2 years was just peace. And then your person comes in that you love so much, and he starts 2 wars. Well, he doesn't start 2 wars. He helps fund 2 wars, just like I was saying earlier. These people are insane.
This should not be a shock to us. Both American and Zionist structures of power exist only to maintain a status quo of white supremacy. The current party in office does not mean anything new for how brutal the genocide is enacted.
You do realize a black woman was at the forefront and was literally the Democratic nominee. You do realize that, right? And you do realize Hillary Clinton was also a female. It's not about white men or white people.
On the Palestinian
We had a black president. Did she freaking forget about that already?
people. Democrats, lying through their teeth, were the
Either the system is as cracked as she says it is.
initiators and full supporters of the escalation of ethnic cleansing in Gaza. However, Trump proudly declares his plans for displacing the population, expanding the territory of America's client state, and building resorts on top of rubble. Right now, Trump and
Wait.
Netanyahu
Resorts on rubble. What the fuck have I missed? Trump is trying to build a resort. Nah, they're just crazy, right? Hold on.
Right now, Trump and Netanyahu are discussing how to more efficiently cleanse Gaza of the indigenous population. They've made this goal very clear in public view with...
Well, if you want to talk about ethnic cleansing, first of all, they're not ethnically cleansing anybody. They're not harming anybody. They're just, from what I've heard, they want to relocate the Palestinians outside of Gaza. Don't quote me on that. It's just what I've heard.
No hesitation or shame. They are scrambling for any false image of power.
Hold on, I had another idea.
They are scrambling for any false
Come on.
indigenous population. They've made this goal very clear in public view with no hesitation or shame. They are scrambling for any false image of power because for almost 16 months they have not been able to destroy our resistance.
For the past 16 months, they have not been able to destroy your resistance. You do realize that the Israelites, from what I understand, or sorry, I shouldn't call them that. Yeah, that's a biblical thing. I don't think that's what they're called now, right? The people of modern Israel.
For 16 months, they have not destroyed the steadfastness of our people. Not been able to destroy our resistance.
Sorry, I just want to make sure. She said you haven't been able to destroy our resistance. Yeah, okay. That's because they haven't moved in. You do realize that, right? And I think part of that is because I think Palestine controls the tunnels. There's like really old tunnels underneath the Gaza Strip, and so they haven't pushed in. But I see what she's trying to say, but ultimately we don't have to push in with ground troops. They do realize that they have the United States technology behind them, and we've only been teasing them with it, with the Iron Dome and all that. And I know they didn't penetrate it once. That was like last summer, wasn't it?
16 months, they have not destroyed the steadfastness of our people. They have only ensured that we will not stop until total liberation is achieved.
Liberation from what? Please tell me, who do the Palestinians need liberating from? Could somebody please explain that to me? Oh yeah, fuck, I forget. I'm not streaming. It
And
makes no sense.
liberation will not be handed to us.
They're not
Not
in
by
it.
Democrats or Republicans, by quote-unquote non-extreme governments of the Zionist entity, and not by appealing to humanity of war criminals. It will be won solely by the resistance of Palestinians on the ground.
These are the people that are gonna fight? This is our enemy? Hold up. This guy right here, who looks like a pizza delivery boy. This guy down here, I wouldn't even know how to describe him. We got this girl, I don't know what she's doing with her mouth. This is our enemy? Buff guy in this entire crowd. Maybe this dude, but I mean, it's honestly hard to tell. But I mean, any tall bald guy with a beard looks tough, right? From a distance. They're all talk. They ain't gonna do nothing. And even if they did, it wouldn't end very well for them. Yikes. We're getting closer, man. We're getting closer to the end of time. I'm telling you. What is this? Moss, where are the Bebas babies? Oh, that's sad. Damn, that just ruined my whole mood, man. See what this is. Oh, okay, so this is the current sentiment conservatives have. Time to deport these terrorizers, and I'm putting that lightly. Wow. So is this where we're at in the country? Right now? Because if this is the case, then holy shit, we are very, very, very close to the lid popping off of something, you guys. If you guys are gonna know one thing about me, it's that if I have a gut feeling, 89% of the time it's true. It's always turned out to be true. But it feels like I thought we were here, man. But just starting now, just in the last like 30 minutes, we're up here and like the foam is coming over both sides. I don't know, it ain't looking too good. I do worry about the civility of this country. Hold on. She looks mad. You know in those movies when like anytime they want the love interest or the main actress to like be pissed and like have a girl boss moment, they're in their high heels going down like a long hallway with ceramic tiles. You just hear that. That's the exact kind of vibe I get from AOC, man. She's such a diva.
He has previewed this for some time now. Jared Kushner and Donald Trump have kind of floated this for some time. We have known that this is Trump's plan for the Gaza Strip. It is horrific. It is the definition of ethnic cleansing. It is part of the culmination of what I view to be genocide of the Palestinian people. And
Wait, hold on. How is it genocide if we're just relocating them? Did I read a story wrong? Are we actually talking about hurting these people? Hold on. I'm going to look that up right after this.
this is genuinely one of the most horrific humanitarian catastrophes that we've seen in modern history.
Damn, I didn't know this was so serious. Everybody in DC looks on edge, man. I'm telling you. When I get a gut feeling, dude, it feels like we're right here. I didn't know it was this bad. I really do wish I would have got over my sadness and my depression and built up my confidence like 5 months ago and just straight got into this. Because honestly, it kind of scares me. I already thought we were really close to the end days, which is a topic for another day. I didn't think I wanted to get into that. However, seeing the biggest beast of them all, because in the Bible, I just learned this last year, the beast, right, is actually the nations that control mostly everything. So that's going to be your America, Russia, China, maybe maybe the UK, maybe Britain. Yeah, actually, yeah, it should probably be Britain, right? Egypt, possibly. Israel, I don't know. I didn't think it was this bad. It's scary. Very, very scary stuff. I might have to make a video then. Because if this is where we're already at, and I've had this inclination, this idea for the last 5 years, right? Buried inside my head, and when this idea started, I did everything to pretend like it wasn't true, but just like how I said, when I get a gut feeling, it usually is true, 89-90% of the time, right? And it relates to the end of times, and over the last 5 years, we've gotten closer and closer and closer and closer and closer to this idea of mine actually turning out to be a real possibility. And if this is the current state of where we're at, if this is the current state of what's going on in the Middle East, I might need to make my video fucking as soon as possible before people start to get the same idea as me, honestly. Because I've had this idea for 5 years now, and I would hate to see such a huge, unique, and complex sort of idea go to waste. Just for it to be stolen by another streamer. Let's just see what else. I did want to mostly talk about this Hamas tab. This looked the most important to me. Is that our Alright, great. So now we got anime nerds protesting. Jesus. Let's get to something else, yeah? Palestine is not for sale. Nobody said anything about buying it. We just said we coming in hot. That's all we said. We're not even knocking on the door. We're not even asking the price of the house. We coming in with a battering ram. Deportation. I'm being rude. What is this?
To kill Israelis at a local hospital. She knew the hospital well, as doctors there once treated her.
I brought with me the video of when you were going to blow yourself up when you were caught. How do you feel watching this now?
Like shit, right?
Ya Allah.
Horrible,
Hard to
right?
watch?
I am very proud of this. I hope time will come and I will live again the moments in which I was tasting and smelling paradise.
Wafa was sentenced to 12 years in jail, but now is home in Gaza.
I'm sorry, but if anybody, if any leader, whether it be God or your boss, says to kill yourself for them, they're not a good leader. Because you gotta ask yourself, would that God kill himself for you? Huh? Something to think about, right?
Part of a prisoner exchange. Over the past 2 months, Israel released 1,000 Palestinian militants in return for one captured Israeli soldier. She leaves her house.
Honestly, man, that made my fucking stomach sick. You might actually be able to hear it. Oh no, it ain't making a sound right now, but that made my stomach sick hearing her say that was fucking paradise. Cause like I've seen I've seen dark web videos, right? That's not paradise, man. That's fucking horrifying. Let's just scroll a little bit more, see what else everybody else has to say. Fox News is talking about it. Let's see what Fox
He wants
News.
one thing, and that's the art of peace. I think that should be his next chapter. And this is a big step towards that. There is nobody who will be better, as we've seen. And just look at what he's done since we've been in. It's been so fast and so rapid that even the left-wing media can't keep up with how much good we're doing. And that's what we need in America.
Conservatives, we got to be careful with that sort of optics. The good we're doing, we got to be a little careful about that.
We're going to help. We're going to have collaborative help. We're going to do things such as tell people that we will tariff you if you're taking advantage of America. And
yep, that's the way it should be. I said this in my last stream. Tariffs aren't a horrible thing because tariffs is how you resolve situations peacefully. It's how people don't die, right?
then we will work together because the end result and the end goal is one thing. And that's the truth.
Threats always lead to war. The only time threats did not lead to a war that I can remember, I'm sure there was like other times, maybe in the Bronze Age, Silver Age, maybe the kingdoms were bitching at each other and were like, oh, I'll fuck you up, and they just never did, right? I'm sure there's lots of cases like that.
Bessie, and this is something we've talked about ad nauseum every day since we've gotten in. Let's make the world better by making America stronger. And we've seen that that works, and it works under President Trump.
Okay, I just wanted to finish hearing what she has to say, but the only time I can remember is the Cold War. That's the only time I can remember countries literally threatening total annihilation. And nobody died that we know of. Now, what about CIA operatives? What about the CIA operatives who were trying to kill, what's his name? How the fuck do I forget that guy's name? Fidel Castro. How the fuck did I forget that? They tried to kill him. Were they successful? No, but if I remember right, he did die of like a cancer or something later on in life. Or like heart something. Actually, I should probably look that up and correct myself. Just super duper quick. Natural causes. But now you gotta ask yourself, who did the autopsy on his body? Was it an American doctor who would tell you the truth? Or was it a state-sponsored communist doctor who is going to do whatever the state said, that way to prevent mass panic, right? If we assume no conspiracy theories, then you could make the argument that we didn't kill anybody and that is a good case, right? But if we go a little conspiratorial, on the conspiratorial side, you could argue that he did eventually end up getting assassinated. I mean, it says he died in his sleep at 90, so I mean, who knows? Maybe he did die naturally. But from what I know, if the American government has their eyes on you, typically their eyes never get taken off of you. That's crazy. I can't believe I actually lived that long. Huh, I didn't know that. Anyways, let's get back on topic. We listen to what the Art of the Deal. Wait, what? What is this guy on about? Art of the Deal. Phase 1, Palestinians refuse to get rid of Hamas. No peace. Trump. Phase 2, Trump announces Palestinian relocation. Phase 3, Palestinians get rid of Hamas. Peace. Brilliant. Yeah, I agree. You could say it is a bit of a genius move. I don't really want to see what they're all saying. This afternoon they withdrew. We told you from day one it was never about Hamas. Wait, what? What's this guy talking about? The plan all along, allow October 7th. Duh, we already knew that. Prep the building site. What is this building site? A resort? What the hell is everybody going on about here? Gaza Riviera? What? Yep, I guess he is talking about colonizing Gaza. Yo, Trump, what the hell happened to America first and stay out of wars, dude? What the hell's going on here, man? What's going on? So, but then again, that's Forbes. Do I trust Forbes? I don't know. Annex the West Bank, ethnically cleanse the land, make Gaza a seafront resort, Greater Israel, destroy Al-Aqsa, I don't know how to pronounce that, and build their temple. Are people starting to realize? The next conspiracy guy, but if Gaza becomes part of Israel, then it all seems all plain to question why did Hamas fall for the bait. I think they are actually on to what I was going to be possibly talking about tomorrow. I think I really do need to make this video. It's what I've been thinking about for the last 5 years, and something tells me these guys are on the right track to figuring it out, and so I need to do something about that. Because you see, the war in Gaza has always been about fulfilling prophecy and destroying the sovereignty of nations. Because just like how I said earlier, the beast is the nations with an S, right? And they want to convince everybody to become a one world government. Now, I could have told you this back in, I think it was early 2020. Because there was 5 red heifers that were born. And there was no blemishes, there was nothing wrong with them, they were absolutely perfect. And so back in 2020, I could have told you they were going to start this war before they even were thinking about financially funding Israel against Hamas. Because as soon as I realized there was 5 red calves, we were pretty close to the end times. I don't know if you guys have read the Bible or not. I'm not exactly a full-on Christian or a Catholic or a full-on believer, but I'm very close, I'd say. But the red heifers have to be alive for a certain amount of time just to make sure it is true and there is no defects that form over time. And then they're essentially going to be sacrificed right outside the third temple that gets built. They're going to become ashes. These ashes essentially purify the land. Israel, maybe even purify the temple. They can also purify specific individuals too. That happened in the Old Testament, or was it the Old Testament? It did happen in the Bible. The red heifers can cleanse people, I do believe. Yeah, I could have told you all that back in 2020. This is why they've been trying to go to Israel. This is why they've been doing all this. And it's actually much, much bigger than this, and that plays into the video I want to make. And you know what? I think I'm gonna fucking make it now. Because if these guys is what's considered famous, you know, streamers, content creators here on X, and I know something they don't, and something I've seen for 5 years now that they still can't fucking see, then Jesus Christ. Maybe I just need to bite the bullet and make the fucking video. But no, you can also kind of prove that America and Israel kind of wanted all this to happen, right? Let's just think about a timeline. Israel didn't do anything back then, but I remember in 2005, 2006, right around there, when I was still a small child, Hamas had the opportunity to have control over the Gaza Strip, but they didn't take it. Instead, they just wanted to be terrorizers, right? And I'm putting that word lightly. And then we get to 2020, you got the 5 red heifers, right? And right then and there, I could have told you what was going to happen. And then 2 months, or maybe it was 3 months. 3 months, yeah, I think it was about 3 months before the October 7th. So that would have been September 7th, August 7th, July 7th. Netanyahu, right around that time, went before the UN, and he was actually trying to convince them to give up the Gaza Strip or help him take it. I can't remember specifically what his words were, so I don't want to like put words in his mouth, but he essentially was talking about generally taking action against, not really like directly against Hamas, but just taking the Gaza Strip, making a huge power move, hopefully with no casualties. And I knew with all this sort of talk he made there at the UN, and the sort of talk he was making for 2-3 months afterwards, that he was trying to bait Hamas into doing something. And then we get the, you know, October 7th, and then when they raided Israel, right? The gates were completely unmanned. Nobody was guarding them. And even when they broke through the fences, right? Nobody rushed in there. There was very, very, very few, if I remember right, Israel police stationed near there and people that actually went there. It was a full-on slaughter. So, I mean, you can argue that they did want it to happen. Is it horrifying and horrible? Yes. Do I condemn it? Obviously. Do I think Hamas is horrible? Yes. But do I think Israel are great and exceptionally moral people for doing that? If that is why they're doing it, right, is to have a justification to take the Gaza Strip, to rebuild the third temple for their own religious ideas, right? If that really is it, then I don't know if I can give them all the respect I tried to give in Israel for these last couple years. Because it sounds to me like they're just the lesser of two evils at this point. They're just gooder, they're better, they're not the best. They're better than the other option. The other option is a fucking no-brainer. Why the hell would you ever want to side with them? I mean, these are the good guys, but at the same time, they're not completely good. And so, I don't know, man. And then October 7th happens, and then these last 3 years has just all been posturing. It's all been, we're better than you. Oh, look at you. You're attacking us. You're burning our babies. You're burning our flags. You're R-wording our woman, right? You're graping, I'm going to say that with a G, you know, graping our woman, right? You're doing all these things, and they were sitting there baiting them into attacking them for like 3-4 years straight, and, you know, we had the Iron Dome, and that was the perfect thing Israel could have asked for, because then they could just talk all the shit they want, get all the missiles shot at them all they want, never have to worry, and it only helps them. They never have to lift a finger, they never have to fire a bullet, they never have to do anything. So, like, I get it. Very, very smart plan, but just because you're smart don't mean you're a good person. Something to think about. And so, yeah, for the last, like, 4 years, we've just been posturing. That's really what it was. And so now we're at a point where Everybody realizes the Democrat Party failed. They don't know what they're doing. Trump is now in office. He knew what he was doing from 2016 to 2020. We all believe in him. He's doing all these great things now. Let's believe in him this time. And I don't know about all that. I really don't. But yeah, this is where we're at. He's going to be giving Gaza. And then if the theory is correct, he is going to be building the third temple. And it is with the third temple that the end times is going to begin. We're going to get the Battle of Armageddon. We're going to get to, end times, Battle of Armageddon, Jesus coming down from the skies, the mark of the beast in the form of like an optical eye or 666 on your head or whatever it may be. Mark of the beast may even just be the dollar bill with the Illuminati sign on it, right? Who knows? That's the end times. When as soon as they build that third temple and they sacrifice those red heifers, it's over. We're in it and there's no turning back. So we got to be really, really careful who controls that Gaza Strip, and I just want to make sure you guys trust the people you think you trust. I'm not going to say too much more until my video tomorrow. But if you want to know more about like the heifers, the red heifers, then I recommend the Book of Numbers. That's what I read. That's where I know them from. I don't know if they're anywhere else in the Bible. But yeah, listen, this is how I feel. I feel like a 25-year-old at a candy store, right? And these guys, these famous content creators, they're like 5-year-olds. You know, I'm 20 years older. They're like 5-year-olds compared to me. And they're coming into the candy store, they're getting that Snickers bar for the very first time, and they're jumping up and down, they're all crazy, and they pay for it, and they open up the wrapper, and they smash half the candy bar in half, you know, in their mouth, and they just sit there, and they keep chewing and chewing and chewing, and they're just full of glee, and you're just sitting there like, first time? That's exactly how I feel when I read things like this. Like, first time? So like, they're focused on this. For the last 5 years, my theory's been this. But here, I'll top you guys off on everything. You know what? I know what people are going to be talking about here in about 10, 15, 20 days. And so just to prove it, I'll go ahead and say it right now. What everybody's going to be talking about and what people are going to be hyper-focused on here in about 20 days, maybe 30, is there's going to be 4 great celestial events happening in the next year. There is going to be 3 blood moons in exactly 1 year, 365 days, right? And this first blood moon is next month. It's exactly 2 weeks before a Jewish festival. I can't remember exactly which one, because the Jewish festival names are they're a bit weird, right? Complicated for me. And then the second one is going to be in September, I believe. The third one again is going to be in March of next year. And then right after that blood moon, I believe that one is going to come in Purim, which is another Jewish festival. All these Jewish festivals, also the one in September, there's another Jewish festival in September, I believe. And then so we got these 3 blood moons happening this year. And then we're going to have a 4th celestial event right after the 3rd blood moon. We're going to have a 4th one. And it is going to be a total eclipse. Total blackout. Total darkness. So, if you're a smart person, if you're an abstract thinker, and you can read between the lines, I'm sure you know where I'm going with this, right? I mean, we got all these crazy things happen in Israel that's going to happen this year. I mean, dude, we're going to war with either Hamas or ourselves at this fucking point. Just with these videos I've been watching the last 45 minutes, I didn't even think this is an hour. I didn't think I was going to be doing this. What? Oh my god. But I worry these two things are going to be playing hand in hand. Everything we are doing in Israel, possibly building the third temple, and these 3 blood moons followed by a total eclipse, total darkness. Now, I don't know if you read the Bible, but when I was in jail, I read the Bible a lot. And I remember one verse specifically, and that is Luke 21:25. I want to say it's about 5 long, so maybe 25 to 30. He discusses, essentially, Luke discusses God shows us signs in the form of celestial events. That's how he speaks to us. And for a very, very long time, we have ignored it. And I can go ahead and provide some examples. If I remember right, the total eclipse means it is bad for idolizers, I believe. Or maybe that's the blood moon. But essentially the moons, the eclipses, crescent moons, everything, they're all hidden messages. Just like angel numbers, 777, 666, or I shouldn't have said that, my bad. 555, right? These great angel numbers, it's a lot like that. If you want to know more, I highly recommend you go read Luke 21:25. If you want, I'll just say fuck it, look it up for you right now. 21. I don't know what kind of Bible you guys read. I'm just going to click on the first one we see. I'm not biased or anything in my denominations or my faith. I'm just trying to get to the quickest verse. Let's go ahead and read the full chapter. Boy, I don't know if I should get into this right now. I should be saving this for tomorrow's video. Alright. And he looked up, and he saw the rich men casting their gifts into the treasury. And he saw also a certain poor widow casting in thither 2 mites. And he said, Of a truth I say unto you, that this poor widow hath cast in more than they all. For all these have their abundance cast in unto the offerings of God, but she of her penury hath cast in all the living that she had. And as some spake of the temple, how it was ordained or adorned with the goodly stones and gifts, he said, As for these things which ye behold, the days will come in which there shall not be left one stone upon another that shall not be thrown down, right? So if we're looking here in the 21 to 1 verses 1 through 4, let's just say, he's essentially talking about how this widow who's poor, who has nothing, even though she gave less material, she still gave more because she gave more. And I know this isn't correct, okay? Don't take this literally, but in my perspective, she gave it like a piece of her soul. Like, she was willing to give more of herself, like more of her. It meant a lot more to give everything you had versus to give a little bit of something you had, right? And so that's the lesson we can learn here. But that's not why I brought you guys here today. Let's just go ahead and scroll down a little bit. Here we go. And he said, Take heed that ye be not deceived, for many shall come in my name, saying, I am Christ, and the time draweth near. Go ye not therefore after them. But when ye shall hear of wars and commotions, be not terrified, for these things must first come to pass. But the end is not by and by. Then he said unto them, Nation shall rise against nation, and kingdom against kingdom. These are the beasts we were talking about earlier. Great earthquake shall be in diverse places, and famines, and pestilences, and fearful sights, and great signs shall be there from heaven. But before all these they shall lay their hands on you, and persecute you, delivering you up to the synagogues and into the prisons, being brought before kings and rulers for my name's sake. Something to think about, you guys. And it shall turn you to a testimony. Settle it therefore in your hearts, not to meditate before what ye shall answer. Let's go ahead. Let's go down a little bit. Okay. Where are we at? Here we go. Luke 21, verse 20. And when ye shall see Jerusalem compassed with armies, then know that the desolation thereof is high. The desolation, the abomination of the desolation, no, it's the desolation of abomination, is essentially the nuking of Israel. That's essentially what it is from my research. On the abomination of desolation, it's going to cause warts. It's going to cause a lot of cancer caused by radioactiveness. There's going to be nothing left except dust and bones. Everybody in Israel is going to flee to the mountain. I believe it's Mount Sinai. I could be wrong. I'm probably wrong about that. But Mount Sinai, I believe, if I remember right, and I am probably wrong, they go up to the mountain from Israel to Mount Sinai where Moses saw God, and that is where they are protected, and they have to stay up there. I don't know if that last part is true, though. It could just be me. I haven't been in politics for like 5-6 months. Maybe I don't know what I'm talking about right now, okay? Anyways, let's move on. Then let them which there in Judea flee to the mountains, and flee to the mountains, and let them which are in the midst of it depart out, and let not them that are in the countries enter thereinto. Very, very important. For these be the days of vengeance, that all things which are written may be fulfilled. But woe unto them that are with child, and to them that give suck. That's honestly a weird thing to say. In those days, for there shall be great distress in the land, and wrath upon this people. We're almost to the good part. And they shall fall by the edge of the sword, and shall be led captive into all nations, and Jerusalem shall be trodden down of the Gentiles, until the times of the Gentiles be fulfilled. Here we are. And there shall be signs in the sun, and in the moon, and in the stars, and upon the earth distress the nations, with perplexity, the sea and the waves roaring. Men's hearts failing them for fear, and for looking after those things which are coming on the earth. For the powers of heaven shall be shaken. And then they shall see the Son of Man coming in a cloud with power and great glory. So essentially, you could make the argument that these blood moons is God's sign of what's about to happen, and that men's hearts failing them for fear could be the current predicament us as American civilization, or as an American society, are currently in, right? And looking for those things which are coming on the earth. For the powers of the heaven shall be shaken. What this sounds to me is like that third temple, right? And then shall they see the Son of Man coming in a cloud with power and great glory. That's Jesus coming down, in the cloud, right? I don't know, guys. Listen, you guys are down here. If you guys want something to be hyper-focused on, or you want something, you want to be able to talk about something that nobody's going to talk about for another 20, 30 days, and you want to be the first one, go ahead and steal my idea. Just start talking about the blood moons, man. Anyways, let's move on.